Henshin Inspection presents Half Boiled. I will be discussing the misses, hits, and mysteries from Futo PI Episode 12, and does this finale work for you? This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. So, jumping straight into the misses, Tokime and... Actually, hold on, let me back up a little bit. Futo PI Episode 12, Superhuman R/Death End? What, taxes? No. Originally aired October 16, 2022. The writer is Riku Sanjo, and the director is Yosuke Kabashima. Going straight to the misses now, Tokime and Rentaro jumped way too far, especially since she has no Joker high dope powers. We find out later because she never used that Joker memory, and Rentaro's an old man! The phrase begins night has never worked for me. I get that, and how it is special to the characters in Futo PI and Kamen Rider Double, but I have never been able to properly appreciate it. Moving on to the hits, Excel's little mecha has a cute face that made me laugh. I almost held that against the show, but I went the other way. And I like that Double won the fight, but still took a loss. That's good. And finally, Philip joking about having empathy now is cool and funny, especially because he kind of used it to clown on a villain, which was pretty interesting. Moving into the mysteries, didn't Tokime exhibit powers that made her seem like a high dope, at least in episode 11? That's what I sure thought. And maybe she's exhibited sort of powers before, but who knows where they come from. And then, whose Joker Gaia memory was that she had in her possession, on her person? Because why would she just have a random memory? That doesn't really make sense to me. And she could sense things through it. It would heat up and give her a little tingle whenever give her a Peter tingle every time something was about to happen with the road dopant, for instance. So, where'd that come from? But then again, did she sense things without the memory? In which case that would mean that she senses the memory, the stuff herself. Anyway, just because Tokime isn't a Joker dopant doesn't mean that she hasn't used a different Gaia memory before, right? Because the Joker, if she'd used it, a port should have appeared on her, but it didn't, so at least she didn't use the Gaia memory of the Joker. She could have used something else, though, right? And then, one more thing. I was thinking about this. Brachiosaurus, I thought last episode that maybe he had, psychic powers because he seemed to be controlling her, but what if instead she's some sort of weird test platform that can be ordered around and, made to do, like a puppet, basically, and she could be made to do whatever you want as long as you're one of the, new museum people or something like that. I think that could be interesting. Anyway, last thing is the finale enough for you? Does it work to pause the story here? For me, the short answer is yes, but I will explain what I mean as I give this episode its score. So, Futo PI Episode 12, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, and this is why. Our heroes have survived a powerful threat, saved their friend, and the client is pleased with their work. Though he was defeated, Nikaido has succeeded in blocking the Kamen Rider's entry into Shadow Futo, where Bondo will continue his operations quietly. Kamen Rider Double has failed to truly save the day. The danger is building and the story isn't over, but that doesn't matter. Evil will persist and decent people will have to keep pushing against it forever. That is the spirit of Kamen Rider. Despite the stalemate, which favors Bondo and his cohorts, the personal victories of the Kamen Riders are hard-won and meaningful. Shotaro and Philip have shown so much growth, and Tokume's arc has developed well. She has room to grow, and it will be interesting to see how who she becomes transcends what she was when she was linked to Bondo. The case-by-case structure of this story allows the first season of Futo PI to feel finished and yet full of potential. It has told a story from beginning to end, that it links to the past, the live-action Kamen Rider Double, and builds towards its own future, adapting the rest, or the further installments of the Futo Tante manga, while doing that is laudable. This show may have just made a Double fan out of me, who I famously dislike Shotaro, because I think he's just, the way he was written throughout Double was hard for me to accept, but I really like how he's written in Futo Tante, or Futo PI, which is the same writer, so hats off to you, Riku Sanjo, making me like this guy. And what were the lessons that I learned from episode 12 of Futo PI? I would say it's find ways to balance out wins and losses for your heroes. I famously dislike Shotaro from Kamen Rider Double. Philip is the better half of Double, and I like so much about him. Seeing Shotaro recognize and take a loss in this finale gives me reasons to like him as a growing character and root for him to have a comeback as a hero. So that is all for now. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Check out Story Over Everything episode 4, or just mjmunoz.com generally, where you can find my other reviews. I've got a Don Bros 33 review out, as well as a Counter Geeks episode 7 review out at this time. So you can check those out. Those are going to be in the analysis tab of the blog, but also if you go to Story Over Everything, you'll have a link there for them as well as a link to this episode, because over there I'm going to be talking about preparing for and building towards my Godzilla inspired children's picture book that I am working on. I need to do thumbnails this week, and will I get them done in time? I don't know. You got to listen to Story Over Everything episode 4 to find out. And you can also find at the end of Story Over Everything, I do a kind of extemporaneous, off the top of my head, little piece of fiction that is building scraps and fragments all into my one big universe that I'm creating to set all or a lot of my fiction in. So you can check that out. It's all over there. And I really like the one from Story Over Everything episode 3. So yeah, check that out. Anyway, with all that said, I am MJ. I leave you with peace and blessings. And until next time, I don't know. Be good. Be good and do good. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can find more at mjmunoz.com, as well as my entire library of analysis, art, and fiction.